Hello, I am Centimus Prime, and here I will be reviewing the Transformers Legacy United Deluxe Class Star Raider Cannonball. Now, starting off, we will be taking a closer look at Cannonball in his robot mode, and what better way to start than his head. And I will say, his head sculpt not looking too bad. I actually really liking how this head sculpt looks. Looks really good. It looks very faithful to how Cannonball's head looked in the Cybertron toy. Very faithful to the Cybertron toy. Even down to the paint, the black paint across half of his face, across the left half of his face. Really neat. The visor's been picked out in a really nice purple color. The face has been picked out in a nice light silver color. The gold here on the head, the rest of the head has been painted in this really nice gold. And yes, there is a little bit of kibble there's a bit of kibble on the back of his head, but considering the mold that this dude has been retooled from, it's not really a surprise. But overall, very much faithful to that Cybertron Red Alert repaint. Very nice. Moving down to the chest, I am liking how the chest looks for robot mode. The torso, not looking too bad. It's nice, it's blocky, it's bulky. All the details on the chest complement the gold really well. Of course, on the chest, we do get this Star Seeker logo, or Star Raider, I guess. We also got some more details like these vents and stuff picked out in this gold paint, as well as parts here on made from the shoulders and the neck joint, picked out and molded in this nice swirly gold color. It does worry me, which does worry me in the long run, but for now, it looks really nice. There is a tiny little stress mark on my copy. It is something that I have noticed while he was in his packaging. But it's a hardly noticeable thing. And of course the front of the chest, which will of course form the front of the car mode, not looking too bad. The headlights have been picked out in this sort of neon yellow color. And of course the front bumper and grille and stripe across the center, picked out in this nice silver, really cool. And of course, the rest of the torso, the internal stuff in the torso has been picked out in this nice gold. Looking at it back for a second, this gold color looks really nice. It's just beautiful like it looks pretty to me. The gold plastic does look pretty to me. I do worry about this figure in terms of GPS, but hopefully he doesn't crumble over time. Now taking a look at the arms. The arms not looking too bad. I do like how the arms are looking. It does have these nice big blocky shoulders with some silver paint on the front. And on the side we do get a little bit of faux forming in terms of like these obvious doors on his shoulders, which don't form the actual doors. As well as the wheels, which do actually, as well as these wheels that are mounted on the back of the shoulders. And while we're back here we get a good look at a Cannonball from the back. It does have a little bit of a kibble backpack, but you can't like split out the wings. You can split out these like door wings things to like make the backpack look less pronounced, but still like obviously there, and also revealing some nice details which will be touched upon during his car mode, when we get to his car mode. And with the door wings out, it does give off a little bit of a nice silhouette, but we will fold those back for now and get to that later. For now, the shoulders, not looking too bad. The arms are basically just the skids, like mold, your traditional like skids. Mold arms, just in this really nice gold. And looky here, he even this modern Cannonball even has the like little like gun stump on his left arm, from that Red Alert mold, from that Cybertron Red Alert. Like, that's really neat. Really nice that they kept that. Does make him look really neat. Very pirate-like. Very pirate-like indeed. Moving down to the legs. Again, the legs are looking... Again, this gold's looking really nice, but I'm gonna stop talking about the gold. Even though it's so shiny. Kind of like a treasure. But moving on to the lower legs, which do have a lack of like painted detail and stuff like that, but aside from that, not looking too bad. I do feel like it would benefit from a little bit of painted details, like maybe covering the kneecaps in like purple to like to like be a nod to like his like purple windscreen like kneecaps. But hey, these legs here, not doing bad at all. Yeah, and turning his legs around and all that. Yes, he does have very blocky legs, which will form the rear of the car. But not looking too bad here. Very neat. And again, looking at him from the back, not looking too bad. I will say, Cannonball in his robot mode looking really neat. Does give off most definitely gives off that same feel. Most definitely gives off that same feel as the original Cannonball from Cybertron. Very nice. Now, moving on to articulation. The head is on the ball joint. Can look up a little bit, can look down a little bit. Does have a little bit of head tilt and can rotate, of course. The shoulders are interesting. So they have this hinge, so they can hinge back and forth like this, but the hinge stops at here. However, you also have the transformation hinge in the chest, which means you can like move his arm out like that. Though this does mean that he does have a case of hot rod shoulders or trigger happy shoulders or whatever you call like these types of shoulders. And yes, he does have a rotation in the arm joint, can do the 360s and all that. And due to transformation, there's a additional swivel which can give Cannonball a little bit of a butterfly joint. We have a modern Cannonball with some butterfly movement, which is really nice. And of course, you do have the doors that can swing back to provide more articulation, to provide more free movement, all that. Biceps are on a swivel. Elbows can bend up to a 90. Wrists can swivel. And despite not having a hand on the side, this gun stump thing can also swivel, though I'm not really sure I'm not sure if you could find much use in that. But hey, the swivel is there. Now moving down, he does have a waist rotation. Can move 360 unhindered. He does have due to transformation, he also has an arcing back sort of motion. You can give him sort of arcing back sort of thing. Moving down to the legs, his legs can kick up to about that far. A little more. You can bend it up a little more if you utilize that transformation hinge. And can move back really far. It does have knees that can bend up to about 90. And if you rotate this thing down, can also bend about 90 in the other direction, but that's due to transformation. And as for modern standards, does have a nice ankle tilt. About 90 degrees of it too. So, in terms of articulation, it's pretty good. Pretty good for a modern character. Well, not modern character. It's a modern take on a really neat repaint of a Cybertron character. Really nice. In terms of accessories and gimmicks, he has quite a few. And I'll show you some of the things that he does with his accessories. Like, starting off, I will show you that he does indeed come with a Cyber Planet key. Now the Cyber Planet key that this modern Cannonball comes with is significantly smaller than your old school like Cyber Planet keys from that classic toy line, and it's not even painted or molded in a translucent plastic. But it's still a Cyber Planet key, and you can still use it for this figure. Now, this Cyber Planet key, what's gonna happen is you're able to plug it into this sort of keyhole thing on this back assembly, which does also come back packaged separately from the figure. But what's gonna happen is you plug this in, plug the Cyber Planet key in, and then what's gonna happen is you can push this up and flip the cannons out, snap that back into place, and bam! And bam, he has his shoulder-mounted cannons. His shoulder-mounted cannons. To me, this is pretty cool. Now, I've never owned that original figure, but it is so cool to me that they had brought back that when they brought back this character, it is so cool to me that they had kept the Cyber Planet key gimmick, even though it is not spring loaded like the old one used to be, and even though it is hardly as noticeable, it is still really cool that they had found a way to integrate the Cyber Planet key gimmick in this modern take on a well-liked Cybertron toy. That is super cool to me. That's actually really cool. Now, these golden cannons here, gonna check. Nope. Now, unfortunately, these cannons, despite popping up like this, they're absolutely not blast effect compatible, which is so sad. But the fact that they're even there at all is kind of neat. That's still pretty cool. And the fun doesn't even end there. Because, moving back down to the feet, if you flip these panels down, in these gaps, he has additional accessories stored in these gaps. That is just insane to me. And yes, the original toy had this same thing where they would store these accessories inside the shins. But the fact that that's another thing that they kept, when doing this modern take on him, it's just super cool to me. Like, that is, like, insane to me. And as far as these accessories go, they're molded in this nice gunmetal plastic that he's mostly made of. So he comes with this sort of like hammer, like accessory thing, and he also comes with this grabber claw accessory. And what's gonna happen is you can plug either one of these onto his little like pirate stump, onto this like little gun stump on his hand. You can just plug in the accessory onto this gun stump, which, by the way, is also Blast Effect compatible. And you can just plug it into there and have it like that. And boom, that's really cool. And another thing, this claw. Let's see. Yep. The claw is able to hold blast. Is also supportive of the MechTech port system. It can also grab the guns. It can also grab guns. So yeah, he has the claw and he can hold the gun. That is pretty cool. That is really cool. And it also has the 5mm port, and so you can like plug it into his actual hand. Like, that's really cool. And you also have this other accessory, which can also plug into his gun hand to form a hammer. That's really cool. That is so cool to me. This part alone is definitely like won me over definitely like makes me like this figure so much. That is so cool. Yeah, and these holes right here, aside from that one, all 3mm holes. So you could also do that if you want. Like, there's a lot you could do with this. That's pretty cool. And of course, there's a 5mm hole right there. So I guess you could also you can also plug this hammer onto his hand and have it be like that. Oh, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. And brilliant weapon storage. Absolutely brilliant. So he has pretty good articulation, and he has these accessories and gimmicks that he has kept from the original Cyber, that he had kept from the original Cybertron toy. Like, there is quite a bit you can do with this guy. Like, even though that he is like a heavy retool of the Skids mold, with a good bit of that's also kept a lot of the tooling from the crankcase retool. Really cool. Really cool indeed. Loving this robot mode. So, before we get into the transformation, let's get into the size comparisons, shall we? Here is Cannonball next to my Siege Centimus Prime OC. There he is next to that. And here's a more relevant comparison. Here he is next to Crosscut, who is basically just a skids mold with a different head. And you can see that they're just about the same size. I mean, makes sense, they're just about the same figure. They're pretty much the same figure with different tooling and stuff. But man, this one is really cool. And yeah, you can obviously see that there is a lot that has been kept with the original skids mold. And the arms, aside from the hand thing, has been kept. A lot of the legs and torso parts have been kept. It is interesting to see these two side by side. Very interesting. Really neat. And because it is the spookiest time of the year, it's only fair to do at least a little bit of a Halloween little thing for the comparisons. So, here is our number one pirate robot, next to our Skelly Boy himself, our skeleton that is the Kingdom Paleotrex. And of course, the most iconic of the spirits, the Starscream's Ghost. Yeah, that's quite a spooky trio right there. The skeleton, the ghost, and the pirate. Yes, I know it's just the 86 Starscream with a dryer sheet over him. He's just wearing a dryer sheet. But just roll with it. Roll with it. Okay? Okay. So with that, how about we get into the transformation? So we are going to take that off and set that aside for now. So, to start off this transformation, we are going to rotate the arms back. Straighten out the arms and rotate the arms back. Rotate the biceps this way. And do this sort of thing with the arms. Do that. Unclick the chest. Flip that up. Flip these shin panels down. Combine the legs. Tap the legs together. Flip up the wheels on the feet so that they click in. And then what's going to happen is you're going to bend the legs forward and then utilize that transformation hinge while clicking the back panel in place. Yeah, while clicking, you flip this up, click this in place, making sure that's all lined up. You can move, and then you can move this up, making sure that's moved all the way up. Then what you can do is you can plug these tabs into those slots into these slots up here. We'll go over these tabs. It is a tight fit and does require quite a bit of force. So do be careful with this part of the transformation. But after that, you can utilize these shoulder joints and bend the arm in. And what's going to happen next is this slot right here is going to go over this tab right here behind the bumper. Like so. And the same thing's going to happen with the other arm. So do that and plug that in. And then these arms are going to rest over these tabs. So you just bend those back and just plug them into those tabs. Then after that, you can bend the legs over like that, folding that into place, utilizing that backwards knee joint. And for our final step, we take these side panels and plug them into place. Tap them into place. And with that, here we have Cannonball in his car mode. And I will say, his car mode looking really, really neat. Definitely reminiscent of that Cybertron toy. Hold on. Huh. Apparently the side panels are trying to spring back. Didn't have much issue with that before. Oh well, it's not that big of a deal. Wasn't doing that off camera. Yeah. I guess I'm just gonna have to suck it up for now. So yeah, the car mode looking really nice. So let's take a closer look at the car mode, shall we? So for the front, front of the car, not really much new. We do not really much new. We did see most of these details in the robot mode as the chest, in the chest of the robot mode. Though we do get some more details, like we get a continuation of that silver racing stripe there. We do get this really nice gold trimming around the fenders of the car. Really neat. Got these really neat neon ghost skulls printed on the sides of the car, as well as this Star Raider logo on the top of the car. Really neat. Wheels have been picked out in this wheel rims have been picked out in this really nice silver. looking really neat. The windshields are painted in this nice purple with this silver line up here on the top of the windscreen, which is accurate to which is a detail kept from that Cybertron toy. Of course, we got this light bar up here from that separately packed part. Got these stumpy things up here. They're not like 5mm or anything. They're just details that are there. Got this logo here. Of course, this is where our cyber key plugs in. And it does nothing. It does nothing for the car mode for this version of the toy, but the original Cannonball toy, when you plugged this when you plug the Cyber Planet key in his car mode, the same cannons that would show up in his robot mode would pop out of his vehicle mode this way. It was actually really cool. It's actually really cool. I actually really like that. Actually was really cool. Now behind the planet key, it's just these gold, giant gold parts that are from that are formed from the legs, from the thighs more specifically, and the rear of the car. Not a whole lot of paint here going on. Obviously, we have the fenders back here, and we also got some details like the tailpipes and taillights. Taillights aren't painted, aren't picked out in any paint or anything like that. They are just molded there. Not a whole lot of detail going on back here, but you can utilize these 5mm ports by plugging the stuff in, so. You can plug plug in the parts if you haven't stored them. If you haven't stored them in the legs already, you could just plug them onto the back. Very nice. And some extra details and stuff. And here is how he looks from the bottom. You do get a little peep of his head. You do kind of see his head through the gaps, but overall not looking too bad. And of course, the rolling, well, the rear wheels roll nicely. These front wheels, which still do that, which because of the skids, retools from skids, still does that stupid half real wheel, half fake wheel configuration thing that's just mushroom pegged in and poorly at that. So the front wheels don't really roll that well. That is something that does bug me. But aside from that, not looking too bad. I don't have the original to compare. But in terms of comparing these two by size, in his robot mode, he is at least a whole head taller than his original figure. However, in their vehicle modes, while the original would be slightly shorter than this modern take, it is also a little bit wider and significantly longer. And in my opinion, looks significantly better than this car mode, in my opinion. Not only because the original had more of a skeleton and not just a skull. I'm not really bothered by that. There's just a whole lot that car mode, that original car mode did better, in my opinion. Like the Cyber Planet key. If you plug the Cyber Planet key in the original, like I said, they would pop out in the car mode as well as the robot mode. It was really, that was really cool. That was really cool. I like that's actually really cool. And in terms of the shape of the car, if you look at the shape of this car, it's very squat. It's very like it's your proportions of your skids like mold. Whereas the original, it was like the car mode was like looked a whole lot like meaner. It looked a whole lot more like an SUV, whereas this looks like it's proportioned from a Mini Cooper or a Honda City or whatever car the skids was based off of. The original looked more like a SUV sort of thing, and it looked more like a powerhouse, which that was also really cool. The robot mode, I do think the modern one is did improve in terms of robot mode. But in terms of the vehicle mode, there's just a whole lot I could talk about. One more thing I do want to talk about in terms of the vehicle modes, comparing to the original, is that you do look at this one and you do notice that there are these like chunks of gold, which are just like noticeable. Well, you do have the details that are picked. You do have these gold details that are picked out really nicely, which is really nice. But it also has these like gold blocks here, which do like hurt the color scheme, in my opinion. The original, in terms of like how the original managed its color scheme, was honestly kind of clever. Because if you looked at the car mode, at the like Cybertron, like Cannonball's car mode, there was like you would barely see any gold at all. Like you would probably only see like this part of the light bar up here. Aside from that, you wouldn't really see any gold. However, when you would transform it, and the gold would just explode when you would just completely reveal itself when you transform it into its robot mode. I thought that was really cool. I do, not only because that is a really cool thing for a transformer to do is like hide away some of their colors in one mode to make that extra pop, to make that secondary color pop in this other mode. But in this case, in like that Cannonball's case, it made it feel like you were opening a chest when you were transforming him, which that is something I do appreciate from the original Cannonball. But yeah, enough gushing about the original Cannonball, even though I never owned the darn thing. I really don't have any nostalgia for that figure, yet I'm singing praise for it now. But enough of that. Let's get on to the size comparisons. So here is Cannonball compared next to Skids, and you can see they're about the same size because they're about the same vehicle. Like, yeah, you can obviously see. You can obviously see that. Yeah, they're about the same size. They're about the same size and stuff. With Cannonball being slightly taller due to these extra accessories being plugged in. But yeah, they're about the same size. And because he has like a light bar thing, here he is next to the Studio Series Barricade. Just a random comparison there. And, of course, here he is next to the Mystery Inc.'s #1 tow truck, tow line. So here's how he compares next to that Junkion mold. Very neat. And so, wrapping up my overall thoughts. Yeah, this figure is like really cool to me. I am absolutely really enjoying it. And sure, overall, I do really like this. His robot mode, I feel, is a huge improvement, like, proportionally, and, like, as a robot mode. Like, robot mode wise, it feels like a huge improvement over the original. In my opinion. And transformation is very standard. There's a couple of like cool things here. It's basically what you expect from your Skids mold. That's basically your transformation. And while his car mode, I feel, is not as good as the original Cannonball, I still do think that this like modern take of Cannonball's car mode still feels like a really nice Cannonball. I hugely prefer how Cannonball's car mode looked in the original Cybertron toy line over the modern vehicle mode for the modern Cannonball. But regardless, it still doesn't look that bad. And so, would I recommend this? Absolutely. Oh my goodness, yes. If you were to get just one of these, if you want to get one of these Skids molds and you didn't want to get any other one, just wanted to get just one, get this one. This one has a lot going for it. Has a really cool color scheme, really nice car. It's still pretty decent car mode. Really nice robot mode. Has a really cool theme going for him. All that really nice accessories and great weapon storage. Really nice. Really nice. It's definitely something made. It's also most definitely something made for the fans of the original Cybertron toy line and show. It does feel like it still feel this modern take on Cannonball still feels completely like Cannonball. It still captures the feel of that original Cannonball really well. And if you just want a really cool pirate themed Transformer, I say go for it. It is a pirate Transformer. It's really neat. I absolutely enjoy this thing to death. Absolutely. Man, this looks really sick. Oh, that's so cool. And that'll be it. If you enjoyed this review, or just me like gushing over this dude for a really long time, like it's a really cool figure. I say go ahead and get it. If you enjoyed this review, consider to like and subscribe, and maybe even comment if you want. And considering when I'll be posting this, happy Halloween, and of course, I will be posting again sooner or later.